What up? What up?
What's
What is going on with you, Foggy boy?
I'm still waking up.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
The apple has a beach ball of death, and that was going on in my head right now. So
That's right. That's right.
just spinning. It was spinning.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. This is Bolt Bros early edition. Bolt Bros early edition.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why, guys, is James and I are down here in Arizona. We're watching some MLP, Major League Pickleball, aka look at our names that we got here. I'm Sir Dinks a lot. We got Pickleball Master over here.
Pickleball Master over here. Two in the Dinks. Two in the Dinks. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, two in the Dinks. We can't figure the other one out. Two in the Dinks.
Yeah, whatever.
Something else.
That sounds really bad, guys. Yeah.
Kid show.
Yeah.
We gotta stop.
It's a family show, man. We're part of the Bolt family.
Family show. What's up, Bolt Bays? What's up, Robert? How we doing, guys? How we doing?
Hey, what's good?
So we got some good stats for you guys today. We want to talk a lot about the Chargers, kind of year end numbers, stats, OC talk. And kind of go from there, guys. It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out, specifically. But Kyle's rocking his new hat for being a season ticket holder. You got that bucket hat, yo.
Yeah,
looking good.
It's a bucket hat from the Chargers as a thank you gift for this renewing the season. They even got this wristband too.
Hey,
it's kind of cool. You know, there's a little special. There's a special message. The special message on it.
What did the special message say?
Oh well, it's
we choking the playoffs.
No, it's a QR code.
No.
Yeah, so it goes to a video of Austin Eckler just like, saying thank you for like 30 seconds, like
that's cool.
Like, that's kind of cool, but like it's not like personalized. I wish it'd be like, hey, thanks for having a season ticket, Cal. Like come on, Cal. Yeah.
Cal.
Yeah. Honestly, like this bucket hat sucks. Like though, like
I think it looks kind of dope.
It looks good. I mean, is it not that? Yeah, there you go. Pull it up like that, bro. You look like that dude from
Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island. I was going
Yeah. No, it's like
Oh my God, I love that.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird gift. It's not like really good material. It's like a waterproof material, I guess.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't
You
know.
can hang out in the pool with that thing on, dude. Why?
Yes.
Hey,
I guess that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was good
I
with
was thinking
those shades, bro.
yeah.
I could be
Yeah.
floating down the Salt River out here and just hang out with that bucket hat on, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. I'd be down, bro.
Rope and
Yeah.
fresh, dude.
Yeah.
No sunburn getting my neck and face, dude. We good.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean it's and then they did come with one other thing. It's like a little like a special tag from this website called Return Me or something. Where basically I can register it and then like it will help me recover bags if they ever get lost in like in the airport or something like that. So that's kind of cool as well. But I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe a discount season tickets for next year would have been better because we freaking lost. So
no doubt. I'll take that.
I'm still going through therapy on that, guys. I mean, I'm still a little bit salty on all that business.
I need therapy. I need therapy thanks to that season.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean,
the thing is, though, when we were at Major League Pickleball, I was wearing a Chargers hat and everything like that. And one of the guys was chatting with me. The guy's at the merch table, and he's like a Chiefs fan and stuff. And,
you're talking trash.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't talk trash. He said,
was that Hefe?
He said,
yeah, probably Hefe.
I'm really excited about what the Chargers are doing right now, and I think they got a really solid team all around. Now, once again, Alex said the same thing from the Wild Wild West podcast too.
That's true.
The thing about it is like the Chiefs fans understand that like the Chargers are a good team, and they are a team that can compete. I'm going to say once again, things to come for 2023. I'm going to say it now. If you do not beat the Chiefs twice, you will not win the division. Bottom line.
Yeah, they're that good. They're that good.
We're very, very close to doing that, guys. And we're probably the only team in the division right now that would give competition to the Chiefs. So,
the other two teams wet the bed. Man.
Raiders
are a dumpster fire. The Broncos are a dumpster fire right now.
Terrible.
Oh my
Terrible.
gosh. Hey guys, like and sub. And guys, we're seeing some new folks in here too. So good to see you, David. Good to see you. What's another person in here as well too? There's another Gallup in here. What's in there? Well, we obviously got the Bull Babes. Rocco, Smokey, good to see you guys. And guys, again, normally we go a little later on today, but because James and I are going to be gone, this is kind of the only time we could do it, So, but anyways, we are going to be addressing some of these thoughts here. So I know David talked about Zach Robinson. Do we want to go into Zach Robinson conversation? Because look, the OC conversation is a conversation.
Sure.
And that's it right now. But we want to also review the stats of the season, review where we're at, and go from there. And so the other guy, I did a video on Joe Brady, quarterback coach for the Bills. I think there's some things to talk about with him. I do think bottom line, we are so close as a team. I guess that's what's so frustrating, guys. Let's maybe talk about this for a second. I mean, we are so damn close to just being dominant, but man, we just cannot get over the stinking hump, man. I actually blame a lot of it on Lombardi. I really do. I completely do. And again, what did we say? What did we say at the bye week, James and Kyle? What did we say?
Fire Joe
at the mines. Change the mines, dude. At OC.
Right.
And
again, I know Aether messaged you, James, specifically.
Yeah.
Aether. Actually, I don't think Aether's on yet. He's probably still asleep. He's probably still asleep.
Yeah,
I get that.
He works night shifts.
Nights,
stuff,
yeah.
So,
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, the whole Joe Brady conversation. I like Joe Brady. Joe Brady has a very similar type of offensive mind as Lombardi, but the difference is Joe Brady was always about doing more verticals, right?
Yeah.
Lombardi was all about curl routes, out routes, just moving the sticks.
Hot route.
And you got to be perfect to make that happen. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so anyways, but Zach Robinson, I think is one we should really talk about now. He's looking like he's the guy. So we'll see how this plays out. I'll say this one last thought before I pass to you guys. I don't know that they're going to make a decision on this anytime soon. I think they're really going to take their time. And again, we also know Justin Herbert's going to be involved in the conversation. So I guarantee he's going to be having conversations with Zach. I think they're going to meet as a group and make some decisions together. So it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. So anyway, those are just some of my initial thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is that we are kind of taking, like I said, we're taking our time. I mean, we've interviewed, one of the other guys, Thomas Brown from the Rams. We've interviewed Gerard Johnson. We did Greg Olson, once again, FTR. I'm not about that one. That's way too much Raiders coming into this building, and I'm not into that. No, I don't
Not into that.
Not into that. And the thing about Joe Brady too, requesting permission and all that and everything too, of having him come in and everything. So, and Gerard Johnson. I don't know if I said
Gerard
him too.
Johnson. Yep.
So, they're really taking their time. And even to just say another position, they're taking a lot of time on the linebacker coach position. I haven't even heard of one candidate at all.
Not even a single one.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So they're just taking their time. I don't know if they're just going to elevate somebody on the squad that they currently have right now or not. But I don't know. Like, I don't know where we're going to go with that position too. But it is very, very interesting now with Matt LaFleur being hired by the Rams. It really opens up us to be able to get one of the two or both of the candidates from the Rams that we have interviewed. So Zach Robinson is one of those guys. And then Thomas Brown is another guy that I would assume that potentially both could come over to this team. So we'll see where it goes. What's your thoughts on that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see both of them come over. That'd be pretty interesting. I mean, they already have a synergy there with the Rams. And so, like, maybe have one that's offensive coordinator, the one that's like in the head coach assistant or something like that. I mean, does Staley even have a head coach assistant? I mean, I don't know. Like,
I don't think he does, man.
I don't think
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point. I kind of wonder why he doesn't, but yeah, that's a really good point, Kyle. I really don't know why. I've never really seen a reason as to why, but he probably should, or assistant head coach, something of that nature. But I think he really uses all of his coordinators as really his assistants. And so, again, I still think he was a little bit, if I have a frustration with Staley, is I think he was a little bit stubborn in making a change mid-season. And he should have made a change, right? I mean, even if you just switch it up to our boy Shane Day, who came from the Niners system, Shanahan offense. Because look, make it very clear, guys. If you watch my Joe Brady video, look, he made it very clear. Brandon Staley wants a Shanahan or a McVay type of offense for the Chargers, right? More vertical, more, against, it's always about space and separation. We know that, but also being more attacking the defense and making sure the defense knows they have to respect our offense. And guys, if I pull up, maybe I should pull up that what's it called? The playoff game and all the actual passes that Herbert threw in the playoff game. I'll pull it up here in a second. Yeah, man, it is abso-freaking-lutely embarrassing. Embarrassing. And I'll pull it up a little later on after we're done with this. But anyways, it just goes to show you that we were just dinking and dunking the entire season. And it's just horrible. But again, Robert, just so you know, Zach and Joe are probably the two guys. I would love it if both of them would come over. I mean, Joe probably would not take a lateral move over.
Yeah.
But maybe he would, right? Think of it this way. Think if Brandon Staley said to him, like, hey, why don't you just be the QB coach for Justin Herbert, get to work with Herbert.
Yeah.
Zach will most likely be a head coach next season. We'll elevate you to OC.
Yeah.
That's I promise you that's the conversation that's happening right now, right? They're probably trying to negotiate who's the right person for what. But it would be interesting. I would love to see these two guys, Joe Brady and Zach Robinson, is who I'd like to see, at least right now. Those are the two that I would like to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Ivan just brought up. The comment just went away.
No. Click it again. Click it in. There you go.
Yeah. So Ivan basically just talked about how Dan Pitcher, basically the quarterback coach, was one of the guys that I was thinking, man, would have been a great option here. But he just re-signed with the Bengals. Yeah. He probably was getting some people requesting interviews, and they were like, man, we cannot let this guy go.
Yeah.
And they probably just re-signed him, gave him a little bit of a salary bump, and say, hey, stick around with us, my friend. So, that's
and
one of those
leave?
guys that's gone off the grid for us now. Sucks.
Well, the one thing I will say too, OC positions are very coveted right now in the league,
very much.
Right? And I can understand why, and again, I think that's partially why I think we stuck with Lombardi, is I think they thought, well, is it really going to be better having Shane Day be the guy? And I think our thought was, at least we're going to be more vertical potentially, or switch things up. See, my biggest argument with Lombardi too is he put way too much pressure on Justin Herbert to make every play. It was always about him making the perfect throw, the perfect everything. It was all about him doing everything perfect. And that's not how football's made. I mean, look at what Brock Purdy's doing for the Niners right now. That just goes to show you that system is easy to replicate. Just imagine if Justin Herbert was in that system right now. guys, it would be freaking game over. It would be game over. Brock
Yeah.
Purdy's not that good. He's not Justin Herbert, but for whatever reason, that system is super easy to manage.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, and I don't know, it's just really frustrating. It's frustrating. So
it is. And the interesting thing about this article that we have here, and just to highlight one little part that Albert was talking about, and you even said it too, is that it's like he wants to hire somebody, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan offensive system. So Shane Day was in that system, by the way.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's that guy.
I mean, they decided to move on from the guy. I mean, I think it really became a point of, is he making Justin Herbert better? And he was also a part of the passing coordination. Maybe he was like, is he really helping the passing coordination at all, and the passing game plan at all? Is he making him a better quarterback? And I think he assessed it and said, hey, look, I feel like we're not doing the right things to be able to maximize Justin Herbert's skill sets. And 2, we're just playing the stupid, shallow, curl route based type game. So we're really not enhancing the game at all. So I
100%.
think that's a little bit of a ballsy move in a sense, because I personally wanted Shane Day as just the offensive coordinator from the halfway point at the bye week. Get rid of Lombardi, just let him run basically the offense and be the passing game coordinator, obviously. And maybe even stay as just a quarterback coach. It might be a lot of hats, but at the same side, he's going to be working with them heavily. I think it would have been a good move. But, I guess Shane Day wasn't that guy from the Shanahan offense and system. So I haven't seen many guys that we've even interviewed at all for the Shanahan system, by the way, too. It's been mostly the Rams system so far.
It has been mostly the Rams system. Yeah. Well, and again, they won a Super Bowl. And so, and they're constantly, all those OCs are constantly getting picked on, and, interviews for other positions. Right. So it is what it is. I mean, so again, I like the idea of this. I think what's going to really happen, no matter who they bring in, they're going to sit down. Brandon Staley is going to sit down with that person and micromanage the hell out of what they're going to do, and be very serious about really generating an offense. Because if you recall from last season, we were 5th ranked offense in the league, and then we're now 7th. So we went down 2 spots, something like that. So we could review the stats, but we were horrible in the red zone. Didn't move the ball well.
No.
I mean, we were throwing 1 to 5 yard bombs by Justin Herbert, who has an absolute cannon. And you're like,
it doesn't make sense.
I mean, okay, let me just show you really quickly here. Let me show you. This is the passing chart. You guys see something wrong here?
Yeah.
What in the hell is this? This is our playoff game right here.
Right.
Dude, what is this? Everything's behind the line or 5 yard bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what is that? That's a 15-yard throw.
That was the only one completion.
Stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at this. Brock Purdy. Okay.
Launching him.
Yeah. He's getting deep, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's look at Josh Allen in a losing battle.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Launching
these, dude. Like, and dude, guys, it's the offensive system. And I directly blame it on Lombardi. So, guys, what do you think? What does the chat think? What do you guys think? Do you think it was, the system, or do you think it was Herbert, right? Because, look, Herbert didn't have a great game. We all know Herbert did not have a great game. We know he did not. But, this is so bad. Like, what is going on here? And I just don't understand, like, how. Oh, let me make this bigger. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, but here, this is what we also need to. This frustrated me as well. Big Ball Staley. We didn't have no Big Ball Staley this year, dude. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. And it was like, man, like, what is going on, guys? Here we go. And then we got to throw this up for James here. He made this meme.
That's an original. What's the Bolt Bros original right there?
Bolt Bros original. Right? Oh my gosh. But anyways, I mean, it was just so stupid, just so frustrating. And it's like, come on, man. Like move the ball downfield, get vertical,
Right.
And I can understand the argument to some degree that we don't have the best speed, and like Joe Brady is all about speed and having, the vertical attack. And that's a big reason why I think Drew Brees did really well with the Saints offense was under Sean Payton, because it was all about getting vertical. But all of a sudden, Joe Lombardi decided, no, let's do curl routes. Let's do these out routes. Let's just move the chains. It's just a completely different system. It just does not work. And I'm like, I don't know. He's just
You
stupid.
know, and-
He's just
and
so
both-
stupid.
And Volpe's brought up, you know, it's 100% the system. I think it's also a lot of it just in general play calling. And personally, I would take a little bit of hit with Brandon Staley not being big ball Staley.
Yep.
You know, one thing that Tom Telesco said in an interview recently with Haley, just kind of like the last
Oh,
like
she's my girl, dude.
yeah. Every time we bring up your name, I think you get a rise in Levi's. But you know,
I do. You know I do.
Hey,
Okay, oh,
hey, they don't call it the bolt up for nothing.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
let me check out my heart rate real quick. Oh my God, it's 120. Here we go.
Oh man, that's like what it was when we were watching those pickleball matches yesterday. That heart rate
Oh,
was
man.
up, dude. It was wild, man.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
fun stuff.
But I was gonna say, Tom Telesco brought up. He says, "Hey, man, you can't be in the playoffs kicking field goals. You need to score touchdowns." And
Yeah.
the whole thing is, there was a lot of short field situations for Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And what do
Yeah.
we do with a couple of them where it was 5 yards, 4 yards away from basically getting a touchdown? Big ball Staley should have showed up, in my opinion. 4th down. We did that. I can think of throughout the season 2 times. One against the Browns where we decided to go for it and didn't make it, where we basically made the Browns say, hey, get 15 yards on us to be able to kick a field goal and try to win the game on us. That was an incredibly ballsy call to be able to make your defense stop them, which they still had an attempt to kick a field goal, which they ended up missing.
Yes.
I was completely flabbergasted what I was watching, and that's the wrong big ball Staley you want to see, because that became a heart attack all over the game, which
Big time.
shouldn't have been that way. But
Yeah, right.
the other time I could think of is the 2-point conversion against the Cardinals, which was phenomenal to be able to have that happen. So that's a good big ball Staley kind of thing. We didn't even see any big ball Staley in the playoffs, which I think that's when you do need to make and try to be able to make some plays when necessary. We had the Jags on their heels, and we decided to not allow them to be able to be completely shut down by actually halftime, in my opinion.
James,
And that's the whole thing.
that is such an understatement. Having them by the heels, dude. 27-0.
Right. Ridiculous.
I mean, that's not even by the heels. That's our knee is on their throat.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we just pee our pants the second half. It was just so stupid.
And I have always said for the longest time, field goals don't win games. You know, what did I say? Hey, if we hit one of those instead of one of those field goals on the short yard situations, got 1 touchdown, we would have more points than 2 field goals. We easily could have had 35 on this team pretty much by the half. Game is done, in my opinion.
You know,
Put them to bed.
You said,
put them to bed.
Like we've said too, like, you know, at that like 30 points, it's kind of like a psychological thing. You know, like when you hit that 33 in front of the number, like, you know, then like, you know, psychologically, the other team is possibly just like, you know, they're just no,
checked out.
There's no chance anymore, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But
put them to sleep.
Put them to sleep. That's right.
So, okay. So this is a great question. I know a lot of people keep asking this. I know we're talking about the draft now. Maybe we should go around the horn here. What we think we are going to draft first. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to really boil down to the free agent decisions we make this season, because I do think we are going to be aggressively going after some people. I know there's some discussions around Jalen Ramsey coming to the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty sick. I mean, what do you think? Maybe we trade over J.C. Jackson to Jalen Ramsey. How sick would that be? I mean, who knows, right?
I mean, that's not going to happen.
Swap.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen. But, you know, we got to re-sign Mike Davis. That'll probably happen as well, too. So, again, as it stands today, I think we go for a tight end. That's what I think. You know, we need a Gates type of guy. That's what I think. But, again, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Hey, man, you copying off my homework, man. That's what I've been saying like for the past like 3 months. I'm like, man, we really need a tight end here, because look,
I'm telling you, an explosive tight end would be huge.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, because like we need that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes kind of relationship there, you know. Like, I mean, because we also need help with the blocks, you know, because apparently our system has not been using fullbacks as a lead blocker for Eckler. So we need someone like that can block for Eckler as well as catch some good balls, you know, and as well as, you know, just be a good target and just a really good connection with Justin Herbert. Yeah. And that's kind of what I feel like, you know, like, I mean, because we're solid on wide receivers unless something drastic happens. You know, a lot of people are saying that like we should potentially trade off Keenan Allen, you know, because he's got such a big hit for
That
our,
contract.
a fat contract, but like, and a lot of people are on Twitter. They're going. I think we actually started that though. By the way, guys, I think because and then it's just like the fire in Twitter is just like everyone's like, no, we can't do that.
It's true. Well,
Yeah,
it's true because, and again, everyone loves Allen. We all love Allen, but
love
the
him as well.
reality is this: that like, dude, he's getting paid so much damn money, and he's
Right.
getting older. And I get it. Like, I get it, right? But anyways, we could talk more about that too. But
So
but again,
but that's also a thought too, though. We might need to get another wide receiver. I mean, yeah, we the last couple drafts we've been always getting a wide receiver too. It's guaranteed to get a wide receiver and a running back for the past like 5 years.
Yep.
So
Right. Well, and the thing about it is too, like, if I'm going to go back on the draft, let's just reflect on last year. How many times did we talk about certain players who were like, oh yeah, he's available at pick, what was it, 17 that we had, I think, last year?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Whether your boy from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. Like,
I got a man crush on that guy, dude.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I was
Like,
I was ready. I was say, hey, bro, I got you.
So many guys that we were sitting there thinking like, oh, they're ready to go. They're ready to go. Cool. And then we end up going with Zion Johnson. We're like,
who's that?
dude, did anybody even think about this guy? Like, dude,
We were like this. We're like, what? Who that person?
I don't even think we even talked about him as a position by any means. But
not even at all.
in the grand scheme of things, it was the right pick. And it was the right pick because now we have a solid right guard for our line. And he did phenomenal for us this year. He did win what I believe he got 2 all rookie team awards, by the way, too.
Yep.
Hey,
So it was the right pick. And I'm going to look into this and say, we're probably going to just get the best available player. If there's a guy who's ranked at number 1 in that position category and could be a good fit for us, go for it. I will say, if we're going to tight ends, I'm going to go, and I started talking about a Georgia guy, by the way. I'm going to start and end my idea and prediction for another Georgia guy, but Darnell Washington, the tight end. If we're going to stick on the tight end theme, 6'7", 280, massive target. Once again, what if we had Parham and this guy on both sides for double tight end sets? Now, once again, I'm not 100% sure on Parham on his blocking skills, but think of how dangerous that is to have 2 6'7", 6'8" guys on the field as a double tight end set. I mean, that is dangerous to be able to find a way to be able to block this guy, how to be able to protect against this guy. I mean, once again, with this guy, with Washington, he's a very physical in the blocking side of things in the edge. So he will be phenomenal to add to that right tackle position for us. If Trey Pipkins comes back, which I kind of anticipate Pipkins to come back on, say, like a 2-year, let's say $8 to $10 million contract. And now, once again, I'm not a GM by any means, but even if he gets paid $5 million, say guarantee of that is $5 million. That's a pretty good deal for us, guys. That really hits us for 2 years at about $2.5, $3 million on the cap each year, give or take, to be able to have a contract like that. So I think, once again, it's going to be best player available. If I'm going to say a tight end, it's going to be that guy from Georgia, Darnell Washington. I mean, phenomenal.
I'll be perfectly honest. His stats don't wow me at all, though. I hear it. Like, it's great that he's playing for Georgia and stuff like that, but he only got 3 touchdowns in all 3 of his years playing in college and stuff like that. So I don't know. He might just be more of a blocking tight end as well. So, like, I'm not really sold on that. Like, we need someone who's like a little bit more well-rounded, in my opinion, on that.
And we already have a guy from Georgia, Trey McKitty, and he drops every ball that gets thrown at him too.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't like that guy. Now, so another one, we got Bijan Robinson here. Look, I know people keep talking about him, but look, we got 4 running backs. And
we can't draft another running back in the last. It would be one every 4 years, or basically one every year for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I love the idea, but I don't know. Yeah, Cameron Latu from Alabama would be good too. I remember people keep talking about him. I think he's could be good. And look, like I like what Willie said here too. Like I think we were very so. By the way, guys, I'm gonna do a video on the rookie running class or the rookie class from last season. I'm gonna do kind of like my review on it. And Xander, perfect example. I think he was so underutilized in our offense this season. It was stupid the way he was being used. And he's a bruiser back. He's a guy that can get those extra yards. And I just don't understand. Man, I want to punch Lombardi, dude. Like there's just some things about him that just bother me so much. And I think he really ruined the season to some degree, and he underutilized Xander Horvath. He underutilized every single player on this team, especially Justin Herbert, which was absolutely criminal. So, anyways, it's just really frustrating. It's just frustrating to see. So, at any rate,
I was going to bring up Savor the Flavor.
Savor the Flavor.
Him.
Yeah.
Savor the Flavor. What up, brother, man? I think is it on Twitch, by the way?
Yeah.
Man, thanks for joining us, my friend. But yeah, Travis Kelce was almost an exclusive blocking tight end in college. I really want to say the same thing, too, about George Kittle. I was actually just going to bring up that, too. That Kittle was kind of one of those guys that was, a guy in Iowa. He was just a guy that was more just a, blocking-based tight end kind of thing. I mean, and once again, I really do like those Iowa guys. Like, if you even look at Iowa, his last season as a tight end at Iowa in 2016, he only had 22 catches, 314 yards, 4 touchdowns. Simple. That's his best season he's had as a college player. So the thing about it is college stats are completely, in my opinion, it's all about systems in my opinion.
Okay.
Yep.
Their systems might not fit that type of tight end. And, the NFL understands this guy's got good hands. He could block, which is great. Sometimes it's not a teachable trait in a player. If he could block, perfect. We'll work on the routes. We'll work on his hands. Great.
So and again, and I think bottom line too, right? We sit back and say tight end makes sense. Well, tight end makes sense for the offense that Lombardi had, right?
Yep.
But
True.
whoever they bring in as the OC is going to definitely have a conversation. And then also Brandon Staley might say, you know what? We need to do better on defense. So there's a guy on defense we need, right? And so they're going to itemize, what makes best sense for them, when the pick comes up. I think we're at 21 right now. So, but look, guys, I mean, I think there's arguments to be made, and we should go into the stats here pretty soon for the season. I'll give one last thought, and then we should go to the stats because I know that's one of the things we want to go into. We can get long-winded, guys, but I will say this
very much.
Look at the teams that are in the playoffs still right now. They have a very good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Our defense still did not perform well last season. We did okay. But not great. And it's funny. It's almost funny that we're saying that Lombardi sucked when we had like the 7th ranked offense in the league.
Yeah.
And yet our defense is like almost bottom of the barrel. And it's like, well, why aren't we picking on defense? Well, part of the problem is that Brandon Staley specifically focused on stopping the run, stopping the pass and not worrying about the run. Well, that's a very one-sided way of looking at defense. And so it will be very interesting to see how this plays out, right? And I think once an OC is picked, we'll have a little more clear vision of where this team is going to go, right? And I think that would make a lot more sense. But look at that. Niners, Eagles, well, the Commanders. Then look at the Bills, right? And then you got KC. Guys, that's top 10. So if you're not a top 10 defense, or is there offense?
Yeah, and the thing about it is that you can look at it like this is defense. This is defense.
What?
We can't see the whole thing.
Okay.
So
pull it up there.
Yeah, this is defense. So I'm just pulling it down so you can kind of look at it. But
there you go.
As a top 10 kind of situation, you start looking at these guys. You say playoffs. These guys are now battling for the NFC Championship right now.
Bills are out now. Yep.
Bills basically are out. I mean, but at the same side, Chiefs don't have like the best defense, but it's an effective defense.
Good enough.
It's good enough. You're only giving up 21.7 points a game when you got an offense that could score 28, 30 on you easily.
Yeah.
So that's winning. I'm going to focus on this specifically. The Chargers are down here. So we're probably at 21, probably. We did only give up about 22.6 points on the defense.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good all around. Now, I know we're just jumping around between, stats and everything here. This is where we lose. We only scored 23 points a game on average.
So it's a shootout every game.
Yeah.
And again, when you look at Lombardi's offense, It was all about moving the chains. It was all about all that, right? But
Yep.
again, Herbert had to be perfect to win.
Yeah,
Herbert had to be perfect.
had to be.
And with all the injuries we had at wide receiver, there was no fallback plan. There was no Mike Bandy couldn't step up and do it, right? And it's like, okay, we're stuck. And then you had DeAndre Carter, and man,
But
they did fine.
I will say, go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
No, good.
I will say, based upon looking at offense, I mean, if you look at the top 10, I mean, heck, you could even look almost at the top 12. They're all in the playoffs. They were all in the playoffs. Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Niners, which is incredible in my opinion. They've gone through 3 quarterbacks this season.
Yeah.
3.
Dolphins, Vikings, Bengals, Chargers, Jags, Cowboys, screw the Raiders, Seahawks. They were all in the playoffs. So, like, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, guys. Like, offense will get you to the playoffs, but defense will win you the championship. So I think that we do have a defense that can get us to that level.
Yeah.
It just, the offense couldn't figure out how to elevate their game. Red zone situations, passing game situations, running game situations. We need somebody who could correct that a little bit. I'm going to give a little bit of heat towards Staley. 4th and Staley did not show up when it was necessary.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
That's where I think was the fault on the offense. Not saying that Lombardi wasn't the fault, but I think him as a head coach, Brandon Staley, did need to step up a little bit with the balls he calls. So,
yeah,
that's where my head's at.
I think we actually, because of those not making those ballsy calls, whatever like that, we definitely left like I think 3 other touchdowns that we could have made that we were in the red zone.
Easily.
Like, yeah. But he didn't have the gas on the pedal. Like, and we've been saying it all year that we just need to have a all gas, no brakes. But there's been a lot of breaks.
It's
been very frustrating.
Yeah, and you have to wonder why, right? And again, let's also not minimize the fact that Justin Herbert was hurt all season, right? I think, and we talked a little bit about Shane Day. I think a big reason why Shane Day was let go was the way Herbert was throwing the ball. He kept doing these sidearm throws and all these different things. Led the league in batted passes at the line. Guy's 6'7". He should not be leading the league in batted passes. Kyler Murray, who's arguably a midget, he's what, 5'8" or something like that, right? He had less batted passes. He had less batted passes than Justin Herbert, right? And so it's like, okay, why? And again, I can understand why you would say, well, Shane, you need to correct that issue. And, that was something he should have done. And anyways, so plus he was also passing game coordinator, and the passing game was not great, right? So, obviously there was probably some game planning things they did wrong. And I'm sure Staley looked at that and said, all right, fine. But again, we did well. What was the turnover margin? I think we were pretty good on turnover margin for sure. I think we were plus 4, if I remember seeing that. I think we were doing pretty well.
The sad part of it is plus 5.
Plus 5. Yeah. Okay. Plus 5.
I mean,
but look at the Niners. Look at the Niners. Plus 13. Look at the Eagles. Plus Eagles. 8.
Yeah.
Look at the Bengals. Plus 6.
Yeah.
Yep. See, that's my point, guys. Like, look, we turned the ball over. We did what we needed to do. But man, it's like there's this like.
Look at the Chiefs, -3. I mean, that's wild to see that. And if I'm going to throw out a prediction, I think the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs this today. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to win. I think the Bengals are a better built team, in my opinion, all around.
They're a balanced team. Very balanced.
Very balanced team.
Yep.
And I think Joe Burrow has basically owned Mahomes. He's one of those few guys that seems to be able to find a way to be able to elevate his game and find a way to beat Mahomes pretty consecutively. So
maybe we should have a discussion about this too. I know we talked a little bit about Joe Burrow versus Herbert. I remember I'm in an argument with some guy on an older video we did. He's like, "Oh, Joe Burrow is so much better than Justin Herbert." And I kept saying to him, I'm like, "Look, dude. I mean, this is a video we did way back, probably 6 weeks ago or something like that." And so, what do you guys think? Who's better, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? Okay, more people are going to say Justin Herbert on this thread. We understand that. I mean, it's who we see every week. But my argument is this, and this is what I kept telling him. I said, dude, Joe Burrow is part of a better system.
Yes.
And Lombardi held Herbert back, right? And it's just the system, right? Going back to what we showed you with Brock Purdy and Josh Allen. And so that's my point, right? Is that I do believe that Herbert is a better quarterback, but it has been limited by the play calling and just the general offensive scheme, right?
Yep.
So,
we got a Burrow from H4. We got Bolt Babe saying Herbert. The thing about it is like, are the skill sets the same? I agree that they're the same. I think they have the literal same exact skill sets. I do think that Herbert has a better arm downfield, in my opinion, which we didn't utilize by any means. Which could we really say that, that really was only if we had, Jalen Guyton to be able to throw the ball downfield? Well, it shouldn't just be all on him, by the way.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't hang your hat on one player.
Yep.
Burrow's system, in my opinion, yes, is a way better system. By the way, I think Zach Taylor has been a absolute phenomenal head coach to going from what he did in the first 2 years of only getting 5-6 wins to basically to where now he is at 2 AFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance.
Yep.
I mean, the system works. Once again, the Bengals could have easily been a team that fired their head coach after 2 years.
Big time.
And look at what happened, guys. Now you got winning football. You got a franchise that was pretty dormant, average at best, to now.
Yeah, everyone called them the Bungles.
Yeah, the Bungles.
And we're called the Chokers, right? So, and then they're the Bungles, right? And again, it's about getting the right system in there. And again, you're 100% correct, James. It's the system.
Yep.
Again, I would think people would say, well, Burrow's better. Well, I would argue I think Herbert's better, but we haven't seen it yet. He still has more ability and gas in the tank. So, anyways.
And I think Savor the Flavor, by the way, phenomenal name, by the way.
Savor the Flavor.
This is probably the best way to look at it. I've had more, wow, look at that throw moments with Herbert, but Burrow's system is making plays more consistently.
100%.
The right way to look at it, man. Like, that's exactly it. How many wow plays, sidearm throws, just bombs by Justin Herbert that you're like, wow, that is a crazy flashiest plays that I've seen from a quarterback in a very, very long time. Top 3 arm in NFL. Phenomenal.
Right.
But it's just the little things to be able to make those throws, make those plays. Like, even to say it some way or another, if you look at Brock Purdy with the Niners, Mr. Irrelevant pick. That guy has great footwork, could extend plays and make the throws when necessary. And that's really what's required from a quarterback. Now, Justin Herbert's one, and I think there was a stat a while back that was talking about the trajectory of where Justin Herbert's going with come from behind wins could be at that level of Tom Brady's career and then some. But why is that even a stat we need to talk about? Well, it's because if we look over the stats again, our offense was barely outscoring what our defense is giving up. It's because we're starting to get those close fourth quarter type games where it's requiring Justin Herbert to do it. I want to see a guy who can do that when we need it. And he did that multiple times. And to be honest, is probably the reason why that we were 10-6 is because of Justin Herbert, to be honest.
Yep. 100%. 10-7. 10-7.
10-7. I'm sorry. 10-7. I wish it was 10-6. I wish it was 11-6. I should say is what I would have liked it to be at. But the thing about it is Justin Herbert has that ability he has that ice in his veins to be able to get us to where we need to go to be able to put ourselves in a winning situation. Now the system is holding him back. As a perfect example, third quarter touchdowns all season. Abysmal.
Right.
So it's a very, very tough thing to say which way, who's better. Obviously, as a Chargers fan, you're going to hang your hat on Herbert, but at the same side, Burrow is pretty solid all around. And once again, UTP, Burrow is getting him to that next level. That's where I would possibly put Burrow just a step above Herbert right now.
See, and I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. I think it's a system, right? It's the system they've created, right? And I think that's why this OC position is so important to bring in the right guy to make it work, right?
Right.
And again, Ernest right here, by the way, if that's you surfing, give us a thumbs up because that's pretty sick if that's you, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
That is pretty sick, bro. So, hey, I just want to say this. Like, look, Tom Telesco, it's so funny. Everyone picks on Tom Telesco. I will say this, guys. Brandon Staley is really the general manager, in my opinion. I really don't believe that Tom Telesco is making a lot of decisions without Brandon Staley. The cool thing is I think they're very in lockstep, and every single person that he wants, Tom Telesco just goes and gets, right? And so I don't know. I've never really been a believer, and I'm going to do a longer video on this as well too, so I don't want to talk too much about the rookie class from last season. I think it was a good and bad rookie class, but I'm going to talk more about that. But again, Tom Telesco is a good GM, not a great GM. But really the only thing you have to be as a GM is a hustler. And he did good last season, I think, getting Khalil Mack in, JC Jackson, all these other guys. He did what he needed to do. But you have to also remember too, he's handcuffed by what? The Spanos family. Are they willing to spend the money on those players?
Yeah.
We're $20 million over the cap, guys. Let's not forget that. We are $20 million over the cap. Now, I read an article the other day that said that number doesn't really matter and it's going to be no big deal. And I get that. Okay. I'll give him that. But it's one of those things that you have to think about because bottom line, it is going to matter at some point that we're going to run out of money and hey, we can't buy people or we can't extend contracts or we have to trade Keenan Allen off, like we discussed. Things like that, they're tough decisions that have to be made. And so it's interesting. So, and a great point right here. Robert, if only the Spanos family would sell the team. I would love that. I would love that. But, but I will give them this though, and I'll be quiet. At least they are involved since Staley's been there, right? Yeah. At least they are involved. I've always been frustrated that they were just sort of there and they would just show up whenever and whatever. They just weren't, involved. But Jeff Bezos, oh my gosh, that'd be incredible, dude. I would love Jeff Bezos. You know how much crap I buy on Amazon? I mean, come on. Come on.
I mean, I could see someone from Disney buying them first, though.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that would be
Iger.
Yeah. Iger, something like that, maybe, but not Chapek, whatever. Though that guy's a turd.
Freaking clown. Dude. I want to
head,
man. I hate that dude. Oh, ruined Disney. Disney.
Yep.
What a douche.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's a real douche.
And I was gonna say something about and HH4 said basically Adderley, Murray, Tillery, all Telesco busts. Yeah. And so the draft is a crapshoot. You don't know what's going to be happening with that player, if he's even going to pan out at all. But you could hang your hat on the guys that worked. You could hang on the guys that were undrafted guys that we found.
For sure.
Michael Davis, Eckler. You could even go back as far as, let's even say other guys. Keenan Allen was one of the guys that he picked as a first pick. Or excuse me, that was a third or fourth round.
Third round pick.
You could go to Drew Tranquil. I think he has been a phenomenal late round pick. You could go to me. I think Jasir Taylor has a great future ahead with us too. I think even Dean Leonard has a good chance with us too. Justin Herbert. Personally, I think Kenneth Murray. I think Kenneth Murray actually showed up at times. He's had glimpses of where he's done really well for us. And I think that's kind of one reason why we ended up firing our linebacker coach too, which once again, we have not heard any about who's going to be that guy for us. I think there is some development that they want to find with Kenneth Murray a little bit. And I think he's got great potential, but it's easy to point at the faults versus the guys that actually worked out, in my opinion. That's bottom what I'm trying to say here. It is a very low success rate for a lot of guys that get drafted. My opinion, a lot of guys come from situations where they maybe don't have a lot of money and they get paid a lot of money and then they sit at that point because they feel like they've made it, kind of thing. So I do want to say that it's like Telesco has done some good picks in his time that he's been here. There's obviously bad picks. You could say Bill Belichick. Most of his picks do not work out by any means. Like, he is a terrible at drafting, in my opinion. He got lucky with Tom Brady, in my opinion. So not all GMs could get 100% right, by the way, guys. I mean, we'll take 50% as success rate anytime.
Yeah, and if you look at
but
last season, that's about what it was too.
there is 100% rate that Tom Telesco does have, and that's every draft pick from 2nd round to the 7th round has not made it to the Pro Bowl ever.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's
Hmm.
100% fail on that. And
Wait, you
that,
said 2nd round? You said 2nd round?
second all the way to the 7th round. Anything?
No. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's
Keenan
3rd round.
Allen. Yep.
Okay. Wait, was that Tom Telesco? Because Tom
Yeah, that
Telesco's
was
he's only
Telesco.
been with the
Yeah,
team
that
with
was
10
Telesco. I
years.
think it was
Though.
one of his first.
That was the year he came in.
Yeah, it was one of
Okay,
his first.
Year he came in.
I mean,
Well-
but he's been consistently all those 2nd to 7th rounds are just terrible. Like they haven't
Pretty
been
bad.
good at all. Like
Pretty bad.
so he's really it's like, and this is why Tom Telesco is, and like I disagree with you, Andy, is that Tom Telesco does have a lot more power on this thing because obviously, number one, Brandon Staley is the reason why we have the team that we have now, like you're saying, because he told Tom to do what he did, whatever like that, and then all the years before that, Tom Telesco didn't do jack squat. I mean, obviously we've seen him sitting on his hands every single midseason, and obviously that kind of killed our momentum as well. But also it's just like the team has no depth because of him. Like we don't pick up like good players, and like our 2nd stringers, 3rd stringers are just kind of like freaking doinks. They they're okay. They can get us. They can push us through, and they can get the job done. But bringing in Bandy for a jet sweeps on theirs is like it's freaking awful. We can't do that.
Well,
and so
that was Joe Lombardi, dude. So
yeah,
but
but that's the step. Bandy was picked by Tom Telesco, though. I know Joe Lombardi made the play call, but having like a Bandy in there that he can't get the job done. And that's because we don't have depth, and depth comes from the GM.
Yeah.
But Eckler, I believe Eckler made the Pro Bowl once or twice at least, right?
I want to say that he was not elected into the Pro Bowl. He's a 2nd alternate this
season.
Second
alternate.
Right.
Yeah. But that's okay. But that's still,
he's being acknowledged. I mean, that was an undrafted guy. And that's the thing where I think that Tom Telesco has done a good job with the undrafted guys. He's found some guys that have done pretty well all around.
But the argument could be made. It's if you take a shotgun approach, you're going to get some hits, right? You just spread around. It is what it is. It is what it is. You can get lucky. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So,
right.
All right. So, Brandon, we'll answer your question here about the OC. Any predictions? It looks like Zach Robinson, Joe Brady is probably the front runners right now. Just so you know, Brandon, we talked about it earlier. So, if you want to go, the very beginning, you talk about that. And there was another question here too. Guys, throw your questions out as well too. What about the defensive quarter? We talked a little bit about this as well too. I know Hill is going to still be there. By the way, Brandon Staley pretty much is a defensive coordinator 100%, but we let go of our linebacker coach. So our linebacker coach, oh, Rich is here trolling already, dude. Guys, smash that like button, by the way. Guys, smash that like button as well. So the linebacker coach is still kind of in an interesting situation. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. There was something else I was going to say. I think with Kenneth Murray, look, the biggest issue too, and you talk about Tom Telesco, and I understand frustrations because we traded up to get Kenneth Murray. And he's been a dud, right?
Yeah.
When you trade up, you're kind of putting your neck out there for somebody.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And he's been a dud. Now, so that's kind of a fun for us decision. Now, this is interesting too. I hear rumors that DeAndre Hopkins wants to come to the Chargers as well too. Be interesting to see if that happens. I don't foresee that happening specifically with our salary cap issues that we have currently. But I mean, what are we gonna have to give up to get him, dude?
I mean that would. If something like that was to happen, now once again, DeAndre Hopkins is 30. Keenan Allen is 30.
Exactly right. Yep.
Where are we really gaining on that? Now, once again, DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen are very similar in the sense of, very good route runners. Hopkins is a little bit more downfield of a threat. It would have to be a salary swap, in my opinion, to do something.
It would be. Yeah.
So it would be a trade to basically with Cardinals to be able to even get him. I don't think that would be a good choice. I don't think it's a character fit, in my opinion, for the Chargers to be able to bring DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think it's a Telesco type guy that he would like to have there. I think Keenan Allen is quite a bit of a soul part of this offense as a leader. As you got to think of all the times that you hear about like Josh Palmer, like talking about, man, Keenan, remember what you told me about da 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 da.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like, he is a guy that really leads this wide receiving core, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so pulling him away would be like you're taking a little bit of the soul out of this offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think though, H4's got a good point. We talked about this. I know people are getting so angry at me in chat.
Yeah.
About this trading Bosa. Now, again, I know there's some clauses he has. There's all kinds of stuff in his contract that might allow him to maybe block a trade or there's some sort of guaranteed amount, but whoever takes him is going to take a pretty solid cap hit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I love Bosa, but dude, I'm sorry, man. To me, I think he gave the game away at the end of the season against the Jags. That stupid penalty when he threw his freaking helmet down on the field. That easily gave them 2 points. They easily gave him 2 points. And we lost the game by 1 point. We lost the stupid game by 1 point. And say what you want to say about Bosa as a guy, and I understand it. He's injury prone. He's got issues. There's problems, man. All right, so let's see Rich's question here too. Maybe James, if you want, James or Kai, you want to take this question. And Rich, we're gonna have you on some draft episodes as well too. We'll probably talk about the draft with you one of these days. So we'll get you guys sorted out on our pod too for sure.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
And I'll wear an awesome shirt for you, buddy, just for you.
Just for you.
Something solid.
Yep.
Something solid.
Well, at least you got a hat on, like in
I know, look at the hat on.
Yeah. All those hats are usually in the videos. Yeah, it's like
So Rich's question is, do you think that not owning an identity on offense is hurting your draft quality? Yeah, because we're not figuring out a system yet. We don't know who's going to be a fit. And so, yeah, absolutely. I think we need to find an identity to be able to know what we could even draft, what would even be a fit. We're just drafting guys to draft guys at this point. And so, yeah, absolutely. Not having an OC now, I think that's where the whole thing about Joe Brady kind of makes sense based upon what we're seeing, speed guys. And we talk about that a lot, guys. Jalen Guyton was our speed guy. Everybody else is 4.6, 4.5 guys, which, will always be faster than me in my life. But, I'm just saying that in the NFL perspective, you got cornerbacks will go 4.2, you got to find guys that could get open, use their legs to be able to, make a system fit. So that's where Joe Brady does have a system in place where it's like speed kills, speed makes sense. That's the same thing with Mike McDaniels over in Dolphins, speed kills. And that's what their offense was completely based upon. So yeah, absolutely. And that was a very long-winded answer, by the way.
Yeah. But. So there was another question you talked about wide receivers. Like it sounds like Hardman from the Chiefs may want to come over. Yeah. I know he might be a target, and he's very fast. I would love to get him. So Rich, I will say this: our identity was basically move the chains. That was it. On offense. It was move the damn chains and just live to fight another day, and then get into the red zone at some point. And that is just not Justin Herbert, right? We see his arm. He's got a great arm. Why are we not attacking and moving the ball downfield like a Josh Allen?
Yeah.
So I think that's why Joe Brady, I think, is a good choice, because Joe Brady is very similar to what we've already been running, because he was actually born in the Saints offense. I think it was 2017. I did the whole video on it. You can watch it. And then he went to LSU, and then now he's a QB coach. And the thing about him is it's all about going and getting vertical, but you also have the vertical, and then you have the shorter, out routes, right? If you just want to move the chain. So you have choices. The problem is Lombardi, man, he ran curls, he ran stick, he ran mesh, all these stupid plays just to move the chains. And you're like, there was no yards after the catch ever. So it was frustrating to me that was their identity. And I'm like, dude, that's playing not to lose. You're not being aggressive. You're not dictating what the defense can do. And that's one thing Brandon Staley specifically talked about in his year-end presser, was like, look, we need to find somebody that can dictate what the defense is going to do against us. And look, if you go back to the Niners game, the second half of that game, what did Fred Warner say?
Yep.
They ran the same damn defensive play the entire second half and shut us down. Every team did that to us.
Yep.
That's a problem with the offense. That is a 100% problem with the offense. That has nothing to do with our defense. It's 100% the offense.
Yeah.
And when you're predictable in the NFL, you're dead. You're dead.
You're done.
You're dead. You're not going to go anywhere. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Right.
This is interesting too. I know a lot of people keep talking about Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. It would be interesting to see if, let's say the Chiefs get knocked out today. If they get knocked out, what happens? You know, if there's a conversation, hey, we want Eric Bieniemy to come in. I mean, I'd be really interesting. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I've heard he's a little bit of a kind of a weird person to be around, but I've heard rumors, you know, so we'll see.
He was a Charger in
was
his
a Charger.
playing career, so he has been here with the team. The thing about it is having him come in as an offensive coordinator, or you would probably tag him as an assistant head coach. That's the only way it would work. Or if money becomes, you know, bigger than what he's currently getting paid as an OC.
Yeah. Like, why would he leave the Chiefs?
Right. Why would he leave? But the other name in some people talk about this guy, and I've seen the name thrown around. I don't know if he's got any interviews or anything, but Matt Nagy is another guy that people have chatted about. And once again, he was the head coach for the Bears. Bears basically fans crucified the guy. I mean, obviously the Bears system was trying to figure out how to be able to create an identity on that team. Just never got to work. I've heard the Bears ownership is pretty bad in general. So, you know, anybody that goes to the Bears generally has an uphill battle fighting the ownership pretty much too.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. Yeah.
So that's another name that you could even throw out there, the Nagy. Yeah. Brandon Williams. Yeah. I hear, please no to Nagy. Carlos, no to Nagy. But it's just one of those things. I get it. I get it. But we're trying to find a little piece of that Chiefs, you know, offense that might not be a bad thing for us. Now, Nagy had a rough run at the Bears, but I don't know. That's just a talking point, guys. I'm getting crucified already by it. So.
Well, but bottom line, but what do we want to see though? We want to see like a Josh Allen type thing. And Josh Allen had an elbow issue all season, all season, you know, and yet he's still throwing the ball downfield, right? And it's like, okay,
right.
I understand Justin Herbert had these ribs injuries, but you know, look, come on, like he could still throw the ball. I mean, he's still gassing it down the field now. So again, we would review the stats, but this is exactly why the OC position is going, and even the QB coach position is going to be so critical for this team. So critical. And I think that's why they're going to take a lot of time. They're going to take a lot of time. And they're not going to, you know, rush the decision and just say, okay, let's just get this guy, you know. I think they're really going to sit back and really take some time. And okay, look, James, you and I both know we're in tech sales. Sometimes you got to do a presentation in your interviews. How are you going to change things? This is the play I like. This is kind of what I want. I wouldn't be shocked if Brandon Staley ran these guys through the ringer and just beat them up and just say, why are you the guy? Why are you the guy? Oh, you know, this is interesting too, Brandon. I like Greg Roman. He's from the Ravens, right? And again, he's very good. Actually, the thing that would be good about Greg Roman specifically is they do run a lot of RPO. And I do think Brandon, you know, I do think that would work very well with Justin Herbert. I was a little frustrated that he didn't run more RPO this season because even the threat of Herbert running is a good thing, right? Yeah. But nobody respected him to run because of his injuries. So everyone's like, oh, he's not going to run the ball. So play action pass didn't work. Well, because we couldn't run the ball at all. And so, but the RPO at least would open up a few things. But, you know, I think it's an interesting thing. And to your point, H4, yes, we need Gunslinger Herbo back, you know.
Please.
And I really believe that this season, and I guess maybe I'll finish my thoughts on this. We're a little over an hour now at this point. Brandon Staley and Lombardi sat down at the end of the season last season and said, okay, we need to sit down and create an offense for Justin Herbert. They kind of did the first season, but this season they sat down and made some very specific decisions around just moving the ball downfield. So I think what they thought was, let's become a possession team. We'll control the ball, move the ball downfield. But that meant no yards after the catch and no explosive plays. So they were making that decision to do it that way. That's the wrong decision, right? Now, that was Brandon Staley. That was Lombardi. So I think that's exactly why they're going to sit back and they're going to take a lot of time to make the right decision for this OC role. Because, again, to everything we've talked about, it's going to take just a few little tweaks to maybe fix the running game, make the running game at least respectable.
Yep.
And then make Herbert unleash that guy. He's a dog.
Right.
Yeah. Let him go. Let him go. Hey, by the way,
off the chain. Let him go. See.
By the way, I'm going to give you a Major League Pickleball. If anybody here likes pickleball, by the way, I'm going to give an update. Seattle just lost to the Hustlers.
No way.
Yep. Ben John's out. Tyson McGuffin's in.
Wow.
Crazy.
Anyways, we like that. See, that's our name. We got Pickleball Master. I'm Sir Dinks a lot. Dinking is a hit, for pickleball. So anyways, that's why you guys know that. So we're going to be down at MLP today. Kyle's just shaking his head saying you guys are stupid. I don't know why you guys are doing that.
Hey, man. Hey,
No, it's just it's the name. That's what I'm it's like, man, Dinks, you know what Dinks are, right? I mean,
hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Doing the Dinks, one in the
Well, one of my court names that I say is remember that guy he was a boxer and he would like do backyard fights.
Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice, yeah.
Kimbo Slice. So I'd call myself Jimbo Slice. And so
Jimbo Slice, I like that.
We make up names all the time, dude.
It's fun. It's fun.
I was gonna say, Kyle, you might want to chat on this one too. I thought Robert kind of made a pretty good comment on basically Justin Herbert here. So I want you to read that one and kind of hear your thoughts a little bit on that one.
So Robert says, I think it would be great to find an OC who would let Herbert be himself and run the offense. He's the commander, not Staley. He's already made enough costly decisions. Shaking my head. See, I have an opinion on this, actually, a really good. I'm glad you actually started out with me because I feel like, honestly, I don't think Herbert is this type of guy to do this type of stuff. I mean, I love him to death, but he's not a very vocal leader. He's not a very yes, he's very smart and he knows what he's doing and stuff like that. But he's not in there like, Phillip Rivers was. He's not in there like Patrick Mahomes is either, or even Joe Burrow. Like they have a different persona about themselves about how to run the offense or whatever. And so, and I know Joe Lombardi did say that Justin Herbert has, switched up plays and stuff with him quite often, but if we go back to that Kurt Warner video where he kind of like broke down like a lot of the things that Justin Herbert did at that playoff game, it became clear to me that some of the play calls were absolutely textbook, totally fine, and there was people midfield and downfield that were open, but Justin Herbert chose not to throw it to them. So
very true.
So he just did the dink and dunks and stuff like that, So then obviously in my head, that makes me feel like he was actually making a conscious choice to put it somewhere else. And, because of something else, because of, I believe it's because of the rib injuries and stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
But when it comes to the play calling, maybe he just obviously this is the thing that everyone was worried about with him going into the 2020 draft is that he is a quiet guy. He's a quiet leader. And that's good in one sense, is that he's always going to have a cool head. And I think 100% he can always have that. But, this is the NFL. It's a very high testosterone environment, and mofos need to have a leader out there to do all these things and to really and just figure that out. But maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just something we can actually see in this fourth year here. So,
and not only that, whoever the next OC is, again, Herbert's involved in the decision on that to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
By the way, it cracks me up. I was chatting. I'm here in Phoenix. You guys know that. And I was chatting with some Cardinals fan, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's so great that Kyler Murray's going to be involved in the decision for the next head coaching position." I'm like, man, that guy's a dipshit, dude. He can't think of anything, dude. That guy has no brain in his head. Yeah. Thinks he's the best player on the field. And but then I look at Justin Herbert and go, he's a smart guy. He gets it. He understands that, right? And so I truly believe that Herbert is fine. He's young. He's very young, 24. It's freaking young, man. But at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where he needs to get on board with an OC. I don't think I read an article also that talked about his last words. He said, "You know what? We believe 100% in the front office, and we believe in Staley." He did not mention Lombardi. And you have to maybe make the argument or read between the lines there and say, well, he was part of the problem, you know, and I think Lombardi was, again, playing not to lose. And that's not how you win in the NFL, man. All gas, no brakes, dude. And that's how it needs to go.
Yep. I agree. You know, and the thing is, though, some people brought up, you know, he's a young quarterback. He's 24. He'll be 25 going into the new season. I mean, that's really young for a quarterback.
Very young.
You know, you got to realize what he did to be able to even get to become a starting quarterback for Oregon. I mean, he was a walk-on. He was, I think it was 6th-string quarterback or something like that. I mean, the guy basically had an uphill battle, found a way to become a starter, 4-year starter with Oregon, won the Rose Bowl. You know, it took time. Like, there is this thing in my mind that we're going into the 4th year with Justin Herbert. I feel like this will be an elevating year for him. And I really, truly feel that this next year will really show and unlock Justin Herbert. It takes time to get acclimated to the NFL. It takes time to be able to really just understand how to be an NFL quarterback. And we know what he is. He obviously he was an absolute dog as a quarterback. But yeah, there you go. Bolt dog.
Bolt dog.
And he just needs those little things. Yeah. He just needs to learn those little things in leadership side of things. Now, somebody pointed out, you know, Tom Brady being kind of that quiet leader. I don't know. You've seen Tom Brady yelling at his dudes on the sidelines. You haven't seen that with Herbert. And I get it and understand that you don't want to be that guy to make somebody angry or mad at you or whatever, your offensive line to be mad at you. But hey, man, you need a guy that could light a little fire under your butt every now and then. And those are things that I would like to be able to see from Justin Herbert, that he could kind of be that little bit more vocal in that sense. I think 4th year is going to be a big, big year for him, in my opinion. So, and I think he's probably going to get paid this offseason. There's a lot of talks about him getting paid more than Aaron Rodgers. Sounds like Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert's in the $50 million a year type range. So
crazy.
Insane. Once again, that doesn't affect this year. It will affect later years. It'll be an extension. It won't be just a whole new contract. It'll be an extension. So he's going to get paid.
Yeah. And, well said. Yeah, no, he got that from me, a season ticket holder. Right? Yeah. So that's pretty sick. And by the way, Larry, candidates for OC coach. Yeah, again, it's right now Joe Brady and Zach Robinson are probably the two leaders at the moment, right? So. But again, Larry, one of the things I will say is, you know, we've talked about this quite a bit. This video, they're going to take a long time, right? Because let me just frame it this way, right? If this hire goes bad, and let's say we end up 10th in offense, I promise you, Staley will lose his job, and you know that's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Yeah. So he, to preserve his job as a head coach for this team, needs to make sure this pick is correct,
100%.
or the best that he can get. And you know, because look, you know, it's just not going to happen. You know, it's just not going to happen, right? So he needs to find the right guy. So, it'd be really interesting to see how it plays out. So again, right now, Zach Robinson. Everyone says Zach Robinson is the guy. Sean Payton is in the chat. Hey, what's up, Sean? How we doing?
Hey, what's up, Sean, dude?
Hey, Sean, hey, we'll pay you 10 mil, bro. No big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm saying just put that up there because, like, you know, if Brandon Staley's gone, then Sean Payton's walking in. You know,
yeah. And Larry, linebacker coach, there hadn't been any conversation about that.
Nothing.
It's been really interesting. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, it's very true. You know, and again, this is a good point. Oh, hold on here, Rich. Here we go. So only job is 100%. 100%. That is a good point, right? You know, because again, I promise you, he's going to be going through the entire gambit of interviews with everybody. You know, so it's going to be a big conversation for sure.
I actually will disagree on that. I think it's not just his job to lose. I think it's both Telesco and Staley's jobs.
Good point. It's a good point.
I think this is a package deal at this point. We've run this course with Telesco for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
This course has got us to the playoffs by my memory, 3 times in 10 years. 3 times in 10 years. We have only won the AFC West, I think, 1 time in 10 years.
Yep.
This is a package deal. It's for both of their jobs. If this does not work out this year, and this is why I think some, like the offense or the coordinator from the Vikings has said, "Hey, I don't want to take your. I'm going to decline the interview for offensive coordinator position," is because they know this is a 1-year potential job.
Yeah,
1-year potential job, because Telesco will be gone, Staley will be gone if we have a bad season.
Yep.
That's the way I view it as. Once again, Sean Payton's been knocking on the door. And I don't think Sean Payton's going to get picked up as a head coach this season. I think he is intentionally pushing his value up high because dude lives in Manhattan Beach. Chargers' new headquarters is going to be in El Segundo, right next to each other in LA.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to have their job right in the backyard? Any average person likes to be able to say, I don't have a commute. Like I could take streets to my job, or I could just be on the couch doing my job. I'm working remotely. Like who would not like to have that? I think Sean Payton is kind of just waiting in the wings, seeing what happens. I mean, there was even a guy that chatted with Sean Payton at LAX, just had some beers with him and talked shop with him. He said, "Hey man, I'm going to coach the Chargers in the next 2 years." Well, why is it 2 years? Well, he'll be out of his contract in 2024. We don't have to give any compensation at all by any means to be able to get him from the Saints to us.
Right.
It fits. Now, I love Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley is a great coach. I think there's a lot of things that you could point out that are the bad, but then you could also look at the good.
Yeah.
But at the same side, I think this could potentially just be like, hey, the make it break it year for both of them, Telesco and Staley.
Yeah, because Peyton wants the keys to the kingdom. He wants everything.
Yep.
You know, he wants to control the whole conversation. So,
but here's the thing, though, too. It's like I don't think hardly any coaches in the history of coaches have been great their first time as head coach. Like, I mean, look at Bill Belichick. Like, he went through like 3 different teams before he kind of finally figured it out with the Patriots, you know, and, you know, just created the dynasty that he had and stuff. So, like, I mean, the sky is the limit for Brandon Staley as well. Like, I mean, like, you know, and that's kind of a tragic because like we see his potential, but he's not going to be the guy until a couple more teams, I feel like, you know. So it's
I want him to be our guy.
And I do too.
Brandon Staley has a lot of traits. Once again, you could look and pick and point at all these things. Oh, you should have not done that timeout in the Raiders. Gone for the tie. Dude, screw that. Raiders are going to go for the win. Sorry. Divisional rival. We hate each other. They're going to go for the kill and knock you out. They want to do that. I think that is a BS thing for anybody to ever say that. Okay, cool. We could go back to this season. Oh, okay. Well, we should have. I mean, personally, he should have been more aggressive, and I'm going to be the one that's critical on that. And we've talked about that. We could have been a little bit more aggressive in the playoffs. Cool. I get it. The grand scheme of things, we had a winning season for his first year, a winning season for his second year, got to the playoffs. You know, we got the taste a little bit. I think it's only going to get better for us this season. I think that we could easily get to a point to where, once again, we have to beat the Chiefs twice to even have a chance at the division. That is going to be the key indicator to where we could be as a team for next season. Schedule next year is pretty tough looking on paper right now, but 2023 team is going to be different than 2022 for everybody. 100%. So I think Brandon Staley is doing a phenomenal job as a coach. I'm going to point to this season specifically. Defensive line got destroyed. Yeah. What did we do? Well, guess what? We still went on a run for 4 games in a row, got to the playoffs with 2 weeks left.
Right.
That's killer. And we were ranked to the #1 defense during that timeline.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a coach that could keep the players in the game, bottom line. So
yeah,
maybe that's going to be my last thoughts of this video, by the way, guys. I'm going to leave that at that. Brandon Staley is a solid coach, but there is a lot running on this next season.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting conversation. You know, this OC position is going to be huge. I wouldn't even suspect we even give an offer until the Super Bowl is over. I mean, I actually think there might even be someone on these 4 teams that they want to try and interview. And you never know, right? We'll see where that plays out, right? But it's one of those situations where, look, I think we're so close. I think we got the right quarterback. I think, man, I'm telling you, we just got to be more aggressive on offense. Yeah. I think the defense will be fine. The injuries really hurt us this season. Losing J.C. Jackson, all these different things. And it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. And Rich, just so you know, it was our linebacker coach.
They
got fired.
Yeah.
They got fired. Yes. So linebacker coach. So that's still an open position at the moment. So Kyle, maybe we'll wrap up with you, and then we can wrap up the video.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, and then I guess kind of on the title of the video, this season was just slightly better than last season by record. Only I feel like actually our defense did slightly better this year than it did last year, and of course our offense did slightly less than last year, and there was a lot of circumstances to be involved with that though too. We had terrible injuries. Justin Herbert, dealing with the injuries all year round. Mike Williams went out, Keenan Allen went out, Joey Bosa went out. And so we were, and J.C. Jackson went out. So we were kind of a shadow of what we could have been this year, and that has been very unfortunate. However, we still made it to the playoffs. We still beat the Raiders, on opening day. That's good. Family, trust, respect, there's obviously a lot of potential for this team. We all know that. And we actually have a lot of good players locked into contracts right now. So I'm still very much looking forward to what we can do with this team that we've built. And I'm looking forward to all this stuff. But when it comes to this year, it's you're right though. It is a make it or break it year for Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco. But I think I hate saying it, but I'm gonna say it. If we just stay healthy, we can go all the way. But is that going to be possible
in the NFL? Right, most injured team in the NFL.
Yeah, we were. It was and I think that's also kind of the reason why Brandon Staley kept his job. Is that it was the most injured team in the NFL, and per capita of how much we've spent on all those injured players is the most of everything. So we got to figure that out, and then just kind of keep going, keep moving forward, So look, and personally, 27-0, it doesn't sting me anymore. I'm so desensitized to that from all the times that we've kind of been let down from the Chargers or whatever like that, but it doesn't matter to me. They're still my team. Yes, I want them to win, but I'm not a fan of this team because they win. That's the bottom line. We've been fans of this whole year or all of our lives, and they've hardly ever won, but we like them anyways. And so, and that's just the bottom line. Okay, we lost. Well, all right, move on. It's next time it'll be better, but obviously, I want to win. I'm tired of the mediocrity and stuff like that, but it's dangerous to think about that, to be oh, well, we're being complacent with this and that or whatever like that, because if you dig into that more, then you're not really a fan and you're just going to pick another team and then you're going to go root for some other team. So, you can't be, have a hard time, or what did I say? You can't be soft-skinned as a Chargers fan. You have to be a diehard fan, or else you're not a fan.
Every fan has to be hard-skinned, right? One team in the NFL is going to win the Super Bowl every year.
That's true.
That's one team.
So I mean, I'm sorry. Rich is here. He's a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
They were a dumpster fire this season.
Right.
Raider fans, it was a dumpster fire for them, right? So, I mean, at least we're not Broncos or Raider fans,
But that's just it, though, too. Is they have a winning history. They've gone to the playoffs multiple times, or the Super Bowl multiple times. They've won championships and stuff like that. And the Chargers, we haven't gotten there that much. So
we got in the Super Bowl once, got our ass kicked by Steve Young.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my thought.
All right, guys. Well, I know we're way over time now, but look, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is a long conversation. I'm going to do a video on the rookies this next week. You'll see that kind of my thoughts on it. But there's a lot to discuss, right? Offseason will be pretty interesting. We're going to get as much content to you guys as possible.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Yep. Sounds good, man. No, excited about it. And, I'll even chat a little bit about the East-West Shrine game and the Senior Bowl too.
Okay.
That's a big thing for us all to talk and look at, because once again, I'll do a whole video on it too. So, but it's going to be exciting, guys. I mean, bottom line, guys, keep the faith, keep things going. Chargers fans, stay together. That's one thing about our fan base that I've recognized this year, is that we have some really hardcore fans, and people stick around. And I mean, even to say when the transition from San Diego to LA, there's a good amount of fans that stuck around, and those guys are really hardcore fans. So, we're not going anywhere, guys. We love our team. We appreciate our team so much. And, at least the thing is, though, too, I can say about the Chargers, at least we keep our seasons interesting. And there's a lot of teams out there that do not keep their seasons interesting and to keep fans around. So that's one thing I do appreciate about this team. By the way, the Raiders haven't been in the playoffs in 20 plus years. Well, excuse me. They have not
won a playoff game,
a single playoff game in 20 plus years. So it's been a while for them, guys. So family, trust, respect.
Family, trust, respect.
Let's go.
Wait, so who's going to hit the button this time? Kyle screwed it up last time.
Oh, yeah, I messed up last time. Someone else do it. Yeah.
All right, I'll do it. All right, guys. Hey, guys. Andrew Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.
Peace, guys.